Trae Young just got traded to the Washington Wizards from the Atlanta Hawks. The date is Wednesday, January 7th. It is 9:30. Man, oh man, that was fast.
Yeah, I want to know what else exactly is in this. There's no way it's just McCollum and Kispert,
All
right?
right. So the trade detail says the Hawks are poised to turn the page on a new era with the emergence of Jalen Johnson and others, bringing in a much more fluid style of play and depth, as McCollum is a plug-and-play veteran Atlanta viewed them as. Trae Young got traded for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. So far, that's all we know of the trades. I'm sure more details will come. I'm wondering if the Atlanta Hawks had to give more draft capital to get Trae Young to Washington.
To get him to Washington?
Mhm.
Dude, I feel like that would be a fleece for Washington, like big time then. I,
Yeah,
I, I feel like I feel like Atlanta obviously gives up the most by giving up Trae Young here. I mean,
right.
I I don't know. What like I know they have big time draft capital. They got that big New Orleans pick coming up. I think if that's something that they had to give up, that would be just stupid. I think that's reason enough not to do a trade.
Yeah, I don't think that's the pick that they give up. I think if it were to be a pick, it would be their own pick for future years, maybe like 2030 or Milwaukee's pick that they have for next year. Um, but now Atlanta is moving out of the Trae Young era, which is crazy because he was their guy that they stuck with. He brought them to the conference finals. That crazy series against the Knicks, he beat them. Um, Going to Washington now, who's a team that hasn't been good for a long time. They're kind of taking the shift with their young core and adding a guy like Trae Young. That pick and roll threat with Alex Sarr and Trae Young is that's exciting.
Yeah, they have plenty of reason to be excited, and I mean Trey Johnson over there. I mean he's a guy who's been exuding a ton of confidence. Some guy like that who has really yet to blossom into the player that I think he can be. He could be a really good player, a potential all-star in this league. I
I
mean,
agree.
you see a guy like him, just his shooting ability alone, right? When you have guys with that kind of shooting ability, and then you have that great pick and roll game, that means you can really space the floor, and I think that's going to be a huge part of their offense for the future now.
Yeah, I mean the backcourt of Trae Young and Trae Johnson, the backcourt of Trays is that's exciting to watch. I mean, sorry, I've been watching some Wizards games because well, Phoenix has been playing them. They played them not too long ago. I've been seeing clips of the Wizards, so I'm like, okay, I gotta watch the Wizards. I watched a few games. Trae Johnson, like you said, ultimate confidence. I mean, he's pulling from 5 feet behind the three-point line. He is
Mm.
shooting mid-range shots. He looks like a younger version of Devin Booker, which is pretty cool. The way that he plays, it's a lot like he likes a mid-range. He likes to live around there. Free throw line extended. That's his spots. Um, Alex Sarr leads the league in blocks right now. He could be your defensive player of the year candidate. Washington is right now. Let me find the record for Washington.
They're 10 and 26. They're
Yeah,
in
they're
a
10 and 26. I know I looked
As I'm
earlier.
concerned, I see like there has to be something a little bit. I don't know. There seems like there's a piece missing for me that Trey Young finds this place as an ultimate destination for him. I mean, yes, the young core, we can talk about it, but I mean, Atlanta had a great young core and
Yeah,
still does.
they still
Um,
do.
so I'm not really sure what Trey Young makes this team into. I'm not sure if he makes them into any sort of playoff contender all of a sudden. I certainly don't think so. Not in the middle of a season like this. Do you think
No.
that they can turn into a play-in team and make any noise? As bad as the East is, I don't think they're beating a 1 or 2 seed as your Knicks or Celtics.
No, I don't
No.
think this makes them even close to contenders. They're one of the youngest teams in the NBA, one of the youngest cores. That's why I'm a little confused here. They're 10 and 7, 10 and 26 in the season so far. They're 14th in the Eastern Conference, right? Right now they're looking at they have the third best odds. Fourth best odds, right? adding a guy like Trae Young, who's a perennial all-star and has shown he can come up in the clutch moments, he can be a big time, big name player. The money says it all. Trae Young is that guy, but not for a team that has 10 wins. Uh, a little, not a little less than what, 3 weeks, a little less than a month from the deadline. I mean, I don't know what Washington is thinking doing this. I feel like Washington may have felt forced to trade for Trae Young because that was the top of his destination.
Maybe, and maybe it's just kind of a value thing for them. You know, they thought they could get him at a premium value. And honestly, if it's CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert, I think that's great value to get
Yeah,
Trae Young in a trade. I mean, Trae Young's still, he's only 27 years old. Um, and I would certainly say his play style, I mean, he could play at the top of his game for a long time, certainly a
yeah,
playmaking guard. Um, I I'm just not sure. Like, it's kind of like Miles Garrett on the Browns saying he wants to play for a winning team, and then signing a 5-year extension with the Browns. You know, I'm I'm not sure if Trae Young is extremely focused on winning at the moment. If he must have something in Washington. He wants to be in Washington. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, this is cool though. This is
It's
we're having
cool.
the Washington Wizards have an all-star again since the last time they had an all-star was Bradley Beal. And they made the playoffs with Bradley Beal and John Wall not too long ago. So maybe Washington is thinking, hey, we're very good at developing guards. Let's bring in Trae Young, who's already developed. He reached his peak in Atlanta. The teams are always built around Trae Young, and this team wasn't this year. His trade value, like you said, was at all-time low. So maybe Washington was thinking, oh, this is a value trade. And if that is the case, then Washington did a bang out job landing a guy like Trae Young, a guy who has led the league in assists. He's a scoring phenom. Granted, he's not having the best season ever. He's missed some time, but he didn't fit in that Atlanta Hawks team. And maybe Trae Young is thinking, "Hey, I can come be a voice of a leadership on this team." Maybe that's what they're missing. I mean, they got that with CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton to start the season, but they're going to finish it with Trae Young now. And I think maybe they're thinking developmental. Okay, let's go into a winning culture here. Let's get a winning guy who has proven time and time again. Atlanta's been in the play-in tournament ever since it's existed. It's been the same teams in the play-in every single year, and Atlanta is consistently one of those teams, led by Trae Young. So maybe they're thinking we're not so far out right now. We're about 5 games out of the play-in. Milwaukee is only 6 games ahead of us. They're not that great, and we know Milwaukee's going to make a move. Maybe the other teams that are ahead of us in the East, they will make trades and it will keep us, steady contending where we can side into that play-in with Trae Young, get some playoff experience for our younger guys and go into the next year.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
this means that Trae Young is going to pick up his player option for next season? It's 49 million.
Uh
He'd be kind of the money talks too, right?
yeah.
$49 million player option. He did want to go to Washington, so you'd imagine he does pick that up. But then he's set to be a free agent after next season, and I'm not sure. I mean, what's the deal with this team next season? Are they going to be contending in just 1 year? I don't think so. So I'm
Right.
like you said, a little confused at the moment with how he fits
Yeah.
in there and exactly how this rolls out. But ultimately, the Hawks had to ship off Trae Young.
Yeah. I think this is gonna start a slew of trades that we're going to start to see. I mean, Atlanta was rumored to be interested in Anthony Davis. I don't see that happening anymore because what do you give up for Anthony Davis if you already gave up Trae Young? Maybe they're thinking Kristaps, but then again, that's another topic for another time.
Hmm.
Also, Washington could just stay steady. They could just stay where they are and stay steady. Maybe the other teams in the East, they make trades and they move up and Washington stays at the bottom. Then you get a pick, could end up top five. This class is very good. And pair Trae Young with that young core, I think either way you look at this, I think this is a win for Washington.
Hmm.
I think either way you look at it, you got a guy like Trae Young for the value as low as it is because of this team that was in Atlanta that wasn't built around him. You got guys that can play defense in Washington, like guards that can play defense in Washington. I mean, Trae Young is used to having defense next to him. He's going to be comfortable in this Washington system. I'm excited to see him play in Washington. I think it's going to be a new feel for him. I think this could give him a little bit of a rejoice for his career, you know. Maybe he felt like he peaked and he reached a limit to where he couldn't do anything anymore in Atlanta. And maybe he's thinking Washington can take that next step. And maybe they have a deal in place already, him in Washington, and that's why they made this trade. You know, after he accepts his player option, he'll be eligible for an extension, and maybe he'll take less money, but maybe Washington's going to throw him the bag because this is the best player they've had since Bradley Beal or John Wall. They have young guys that are locked in for their rookie contracts. Alex Sarr, Trae Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly is going to get paid in a few years. I mean, they gave up Corey Kispert, who's a great shooter for them, but you replace it with Trae Young shooting. It basically just washes. I think, if anything, I think we're going to look back in the trade and be like, wow, Washington really got Trae Young for an all-time low, and they ran away with it.
Yeah, and because I mean, CJ McCollum, I mean, 34 years old, he's still averaging 18 points, shooting almost 40% from three. I mean, that's, even on the flip side, that's still something very solid that Atlanta picks up. Corey Kispert, 40% free, 3-point shooter, about 10 points a game. So they pick up, two guys that can do something for them, but you're going to see, you know, the young guys on the Hawks really, really pick up the load and they'll see what they have in their young core.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would expect Trae Young to be a little bit more aggressive, more closer to the deadline as well, especially moving on from Trae Young. You know, if they're trying to compete with the roster they have now, go all in on Jalen Johnson, get him developed. Reese O'Shea, they have young guys they can develop. Washington is going to stay their course. Um, so I think this is kind of we all expected this to happen. I actually texted in our group chat today. Trae Young will be traded tonight or tomorrow because the Washington Wizards had a game today, and Kispert, McCollum, and Middleton were all out. Trae Young was listed as out tonight, too. We knew it was going to happen, and it happened. Take a trip back to the 2018 draft. The Atlanta Hawks traded Trae Young and Luka Doncic for each other. Luka became a Mav, Trae Young became a Hawk. Neither of those guys are on the Mavs or the Hawks now.
Man,
A
I mean,
lot can
hey,
happen.
were they ever gonna spend their whole careers there? We thought Luca was going to. Nico
I
Harris
think
needs to do
I
about them.
think with how the NBA is shaping up, with all the new TV deals and the contract deals, we're going to see a lot of this a lot more. We're going to see a lot of teams not wanting to pay their homegrown star when the time comes because of maybe one little thing, like Luka Doncic was too fat and not in shape. Trae Young was doesn't fit with his current team. I think we're going to see a little bit more of that because teams are going to be a little bit more money hungry when it comes to, building a squad because you can't keep everybody together. Eventually, someone is going to have to leave. We're going to see that happen with Oklahoma City in the next 4 years. Someone has to leave OKC because with the new rules, you can't pay everybody and keep them together for that long. We're going to see this happen a lot more. Trae Young is the first domino, or second domino, I would say, behind Luka Doncic of this. And while we have started the NBA trade season, I'm even more excited to talk about it tomorrow on Above the Rim. But I wanted to give our reactions. James, you got anything else you want to say about this? Or
Just that, I mean, even for the Hawks, it frees up a lot of cap. They've got great young guys, and I haven't taken a look at the upcoming free agent class, but I would expect them to make a splash of some sort, depending on how much room they have and where they can shift some guys.
yeah, just gonna check one more time. I'm not seeing anything more about final details here of this trade. Um, but yeah,
Honestly, as good as he is, or even was for the Hawks, I don't know. I mean, he did have the reins of that team for his entire career. And I mean, it has only been really, some play-in games. He got them like what, a 4 or 5 seed that one year. He beat the Knicks. Other than that, it hasn't necessarily been spectacular. And again, defensive side of the ball. Um, look at what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing. Um, every team is going to do their best to copy that. And I think with everyone else on the roster, they have a really good uh, route to take to get to that without Trae Young, though.
hmm yeah, I agree.
That's kind of all I was thinking about there.
I think at the end of the day, Trae Young was gonna be a loss moving forward for Atlanta, and they knew that. They saw that just from this season alone. It told them, okay, we got versatile wings on our roster, and a guy that can't play defense and shoots a lot might move a different direction. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
They did it. I mean, it, it's not often, I guess. Well, I guess it is, but we're seeing more of the time, as in like the Luka Doncic trade last year. Like, oh, we're gonna trade you, but we're not gonna send you where you want to go. Trae Young got sent exactly where he wanted to go 2 days later. 2 days after he told them where he wanted to go. That's a little unusual. So I'm thinking that Washington and Trae Young, they have a deal in place. They have a contract in place already for Trae Young and his camp to go over when the time comes this summer. And I think ultimately that's why he wanted to go to Washington, and that's why this trade happened so fast.
could be.
Yep. Well, we'll have to see more, I guess. I don't know. Uh, it's interesting, man. I'm excited for the rest of these trades to happen and what'll come through because they're able to happen now, and I think we might. There is an executive report saying, this deadline might be really dead to shape up for a crazy summer. I
Hmm.
think we just might have a crazy deadline. Uh, Trae Young is a Washington Wizard, and we'll see how the rest of the season shapes up. I just wanted to give a live reaction. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think of this trade. And we got more Above the Rim coming to you guys on Friday. So stay tuned for that. Peace.